Do you want to live in a country where people run out of food? Where people don't have enough money to buy toothpaste or go to the dentist? I certainly don't. The UK is one of the richest countries in the world. This kind of poverty just should not exist in a country that's so rich. How can we let this happen? How can we sit back in the knowledge that people are really, really struggling? The Trussell Trust commissioned YouGov to conduct some really extensive research of households receiving universal credit. There are 6.9 million people in the UK that claim universal credit. By definition, someone on universal credit in the UK is poor, below the poverty line, relying on this minimal income to meet basic essential needs. Being on universal credit indicates real economic vulnerability and poverty. The Trust's analysis highlights some truly shocking facts. 48% of people claiming universal credit ran out of food in the last month and didn't have enough money to buy more. This represents around 3.3 million people who do not have enough food. That's a lot of people, and this is the UK. This figure can be broken down into those working and not working, and we can see that 41% of those in work are going without food. At the bottom end of the job market, pay conditions are so bad, employers are being subsidised by the government who have to top up exploitative wages. And even with universal credit, 4 out of 10 of these people are going hungry. That's really shocking. The Trussell Trust sends out food parcels and presents solid data on how much people are needing help with food. Their data shows a significant and consistent growth in emergency food parcels given by food banks in the Trussell Trust network since 2018. In 2023-24, 3.1 million food parcels were given out in their network. 1.1 million of these were to children. The Trussell Trust is only one of multiple organisations in the UK that provide food parcels to individuals and families in need. There's a lot more food parcels than this, but this data does give an idea of the growth of this crisis. Looking at more of the Trust's analysis, 68% of working households in receipt of universal credit have gone without essentials in the past 6 months. That represents around 4.7 million people. These are not people living an easy life on benefits, sitting at home doing nothing, expecting the country to pay for them. These are people working, who don't earn enough even to live. Let's look at a bit more detail of what people couldn't afford. 18% experienced not being dressed appropriately for the weather because they couldn't afford clothes or shoes. 27% were unable to repair a broken washing machine, fridge or TV. 16% had gone without a shower or bath. 15% had gone without basic toiletries, things like soap, shampoo, toothpaste. 29% had not been able to keep their home warm, and 33% had not had essential dental treatment. Now, many of my videos are about the UK being in crisis, and I often talk about the need for a massive spending and investment plan and how we should be asking the super wealthy to help to pay for this. But this level of deprivation is more than a crisis. It's a national emergency. How can we sit back and let this happen? How has this happened? The main answer to this, I think, is 14 years of austerity government. This isn't a comprehensive analysis, but I found some figures for unemployment benefit, JSA, and incapacity benefits from the Department of Work and Pensions. It shows that between the late 1980s and 2009, the real level of benefits was increasing. This takes into account inflation, so people on benefits were relatively getting better off during this period. From 2010 to 2016, the real level of benefits flattened. Spending power stayed more or less the same, taking into account inflation. However, from 2016 onwards, we see a dramatic decrease in real benefits. What this is showing us is that the Trussell Trust analysis was totally predictable. It was obvious this was going to happen when you see how benefits have been slashed. So what can be done? The Trussell Trust produced a manifesto for the recent election. It includes some really good proposals like an essentials guarantee that the basic rate of universal credit should at least cover the costs of essentials like food, household bills and travel. The level of benefit is not actually set according to any objective assessment of what people need, which is why it's been allowed to fall so much. This chart created by the Trust shows how far short universal credit is from covering the cost of essentials. Another key proposal is to make debt deductions more affordable. Many people end up in debt when they go on universal credit due to the 5-week wait for the first payment to come through. This means that people are under financial pressure right from the start. And of course, it's crazy that we keep having to say this, but the 2-child benefit limit should be scrapped. The Trust is urging the government to address this in its autumn budget. This is exactly what you would hope a new Labour government would be doing. We cannot wait for economic growth. This needs to be addressed today. I hope you found this information useful. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.